How did segregation in schools begin during and after Reconstruction? Have you ever wondered how the educational system in the United States became so divided along racial lines? The story begins during the Reconstruction era, right after the American Civil War. At this time, there was a strong push for integrated schools, where black and white children could learn together. Many new schools were established, thanks to the support of the federal government, the military, and African American leaders who believed education was key to building a fair society. In the early days of Reconstruction, some southern states, like Louisiana and South Carolina, even included provisions in their constitutions that banned racial segregation in schools. School leaders, including African American educators, worked hard to provide education for black children. For instance, many black children attended schools set up by the military during the Civil War. By the early 1870s, public schools were open to African American children, although many were still segregated, like the school at Tolson's Chapel in Sharpsburg. However, this progress was not meant to last. As Reconstruction came to an end in 1877, Southern states began to enact laws known as Jim Crow laws. These laws enforced racial segregation in all public facilities, including schools. The idea was to create separate but equal educational systems. Unfortunately, this was far from reality. Schools for black children were often poorly funded and lacked basic resources compared to those for white children. The U.S. Supreme Court played a significant role in solidifying this separation. In the landmark case of Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896, the court upheld the constitutionality of racial segregation, as long as the separate facilities were claimed to be equal. This ruling gave legal backing to the segregationist policies that had taken root after the end of Reconstruction. Additionally, the rollback of rights gained during Reconstruction was marked by the Supreme Court striking down the Civil Rights Act of 1875. This act had prohibited racial discrimination in public accommodations. With this legal shift, segregation became deeply embedded in the educational system and other public institutions. In essence, school segregation began as a complex issue during Reconstruction. While there were initial efforts aimed at integration and equal education, the withdrawal of federal support and the rise of white supremacist state governments led to the establishment of segregated schools through Jim Crow laws after Reconstruction ended. This segregation would persist for many decades, only to be challenged by the civil rights movement in the mid-20th century.